Hello, my name is Regina Whalen, and I would like for you to close your eyes a moment and imagine that you and your family are coming home from a summer vacation. And you're tired and you don't feel like cooking, so you stop at your favorite fast food restaurant. You order 3 hamburgers, one for you, one for your spouse, and one for your 2.5-year-old son. You go home, you finish unpacking, and a few days go by. And you find your son violently ill. He's screaming, he's crying, and you find blood in his diarrhea. Very concerned, you bring your son to the local emergency room. The physician there performs an examination of your son, and he takes a stool sample. The results are in. The diagnosis: your son has been infected with E. coli 0157H7. In 12 short days, this disease runs rampant within your son and takes his life. The very hamburger you fed your son for dinner has claimed his life. Today, I would like to discuss with you how our current government policy regarding the process of meat needs to be reformed. The information I offer you today will impact your overall health. It will equip you to make better decisions regarding the food that you feed your families, and it will help you to effectuate change. First, I will bring you through the current process of raising cows and how we process the meat. Secondly, I will discuss the consequences that arise. And lastly, I will discuss the current FDA involvement. When we think of cows, most of us still hold on to the thought that cows are raised on a farm with farmers. Well, in reality, the farmer has been replaced by large corporations, and the farm has been replaced with CAFOs. CAFOs is a concentrated animal feeding operation, and it's defined as an animal feeding facility that confines thousands of cows for more than 45 days that does not grow vegetation. Well, as we know, cows are evolutionary designed to eat grain. But instead, we feed them genetically modified corn and mass doses of antibiotics to promote growth and to induce bulk or fat. Due to the confines of a CAFO, the cow spends all of its time before slaughter ankle deep in manure. And this manure becomes caked onto their hides. And when the cow is transferred to the facility for slaughter, it is transferred onto the equipment. And then the feces, the E. coli, is then transferred back onto the carcass. And the answer? The factories cleanse the meat with ammonia and ammonia hydroxide. Well, this process also reduces the amount of natural healthy enzymes, fatty acids, and vital vitamins and minerals that are contained in the meat. Once the meat is rounded through the ammonia process, the meat is grinded to form ground beef. One package of ground beef contains over 1,000 different cows. The consequences? Well, the consequences of utilizing CAFOs reach beyond our processed meat to our produce and also to our environment. The documented cases, this is a picture here of a CAFO. This is a facility where thousands, hundreds of thousands of cows are really processed in this small confined space. This here is a picture of cows. This is them eating the genetically modified corn through a trowel, which is commonly used to feed pigs. And this is also a chicken CAFO. And this is the 3 different type of chicken coops that Tyson and Purdue commonly used. Notice there's no windows in there for ventilation. The consequences, as I mentioned, are outbreaks of E. coli, and they have steadily risen. This is a picture here of the boy I mentioned earlier who died. In 1993, Jack in the Box, the food corporation, the fast food company, was forced to recall all of their frozen hamburgers. And in 1998, IBP, one of the largest manufacturers of ground beef, recalled 3,000 pounds 300,000 pounds of ground beef. And in 2001, IBP recalled again 500,000 pounds of ground beef. In 2002, ConAgra recalled 19 million pounds of ground beef. And in 2007, 22 million pounds of ground beef was recalled. That is enough ground beef to make a fast food hamburger for every adult American. Other consequences to using the CAFOs is the contamination of the groundwater. It has been linked to the contamination of other food products such as apple juice and leafy green vegetables like lettuce and spinach. And as reported by the Center for Disease Control, in 2006, 90 cases of E. coli due to contamination of spinach were reported, and 20 cases of E. coli due to contaminated leafy greens. CAFOs have also been linked to other mutated viral pathogens such as H1N1, influenza, or more commonly known as swine flu. Lastly, the United States Food and Drug Administration, whose motto is protecting and promoting your health, have continuously decreased their involvement regarding the inspections of meat processing factories. The FDA in 1972 approximately performed 50,000 meat inspections. And in 2006, they performed approximately 9,164 meat inspections. The administration has abdicated their position, and in doing so, they have given more power to the corporations. In 1970, thousands of slaughterhouses existed, and today there are only 13. One of the largest corporations is IBP, and right now they have 70% control over the market, and they are aiming for 100. In conclusion, now that I have mentioned the implications of the current system of raising cows and how we process their meat, the consequences that arise, and a lack of involvement within the FDA, you may find yourself asking, what can I do now? Well, there are 3 things that I would like you to consider. Number 1, arm yourself with knowledge. Knowledge equals power. Visit healthyeatingpolitics.com. Number 2, support your local farmer. To locate a farmer near you, please visit localharvest.org. And number 3, be proactive. Vote and regularly write your congressman. Are there any questions?
What is the correct temperature for cooking meat?
Very good question. 160 to 170 degrees of an internal temperature for ground beef. And make sure that any food or ground beef that you eat from a fast food restaurant of any type, make sure that it's thoroughly cooked. Otherwise, the E. coli virus can be passed on to you. Yes?
How do you treat E. coli?
How do you treat E. coli? Well, E. coli is a virus infection. So therefore, all viral infections cannot be treated with a course of antibiotic. And in fact, due to the antibiotics that we feed the cows, that particular virus, the 0157H7, if you try to treat it with antibiotics, it actually aggravates the virus and makes it more violent to the patient.
Why doesn't the FDA ban the CAFOs?
That's a very good question. An interesting fact, supported by CNN and supported by Food Incorporated, that most of the CEO companies, ConAgra, IBP, they eventually get hired by the United States government to be FDA agents. So therefore, there's a dual interest in keeping the amount of inspections down so that they have more control and more profit is generated for the companies in which they held very high prestigious positions in. Thank you.